Well, hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to Many Familiar Faces. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Excellent. Perfect. I'm glad you can all hear me. Good morning, Natalia and Sasha. Good morning, Maddie and Gwenny. Good morning, Sienna and Anea. Good morning, Grayson and Cole. Good morning, Isla. Good morning, Malia again. And good morning, Miss Lexi. Good morning. So this morning we have with us Shannon from the Langley Centennial Museum, and she is going to take control and she's going to lead the meeting. And then at the very end, I'm going to tell you about a couple really cool projects that you can be a part of. All right, Shannon, you ready to roll? You ready to go?
Yes, there we go. I was just realizing we were both unmuting me at the same time. Yeah, I think I've got this. I've got all my screens. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back, Malia and Isla. It's so good to see you guys again. Thank you for coming. So this morning, we are going to talk a little bit about history, but the fun part of history, we're going to talk about toys. So my name is Shannon. I am working at the Langley Centennial Museum. I am there on what's called an intern position. So I'm covering somebody else's job while she's off at home with her kids right now. But I take care of all of the education programs. So at the Langley Centennial Museum, we have lots and lots of programs. We teach kids all over the Lower Mainland about art and history and science. So today we're just going to do a little bit of a show and tell. We're going to talk about toys. Give me a thumbs up if that's exciting. Yeah, this is going to be the fun part of history. We're going to take turns. I would just love each of you to share what your favorite toy is. So like just a quick little, like, this is my favorite toy, and this is what it's made out of, and this is why I like it, something like that. We'll take turns. I'm going to unmute Natalia and Sasha first. I'm going to go in order of my screen here. Just bear with me. Okay, Natalia and Sasha, do you want to tell me about your favorite toys?
You got a marble.
You've got a marble. Excellent. What's the marble made out of? Do you know?
Nope.
No? Is it bouncy or is it hard?
What?
Is it bouncy like a ball or hard like a marble that, it doesn't bounce? If you drop it, will it break?
It won't break. It'll just make a loud noise.
Okay. Cool. And why is that your favorite?
He has a lot of them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for sharing. Let's go to Maddie and Gwenny.
This one was her daddy's. When he was born, he got that, and it's her new favorite toy. What have you called him?
Rainbow.
Rainbow.
Nice. And what about Gwenny?
Gwenny has actually my old teddy bear, Honey Bear. And I got Honey Bear when I was born.
Oh, nice. That is a toy with some history. Awesome. Thank you for sharing, my friends. Thank you so much. Okay, on to Sienna and Anya.
I have a little chicken.
Awesome. What's that chicken made out of?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, is it light or is it heavy?
It's very heavy.
Very heavy, okay. And are you Anya? The one who's speaking? Sienna, okay. And Anya, do you have a favorite toy, or are you guys just sharing the favorite toy?
I have this.
It looks like a Rubik's Cube almost. It's a puzzle cube, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ah, fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Okay, I'm going to try to mute you guys again for now. There we go. And I'm going to go to Grayson and Cole. What do you guys have there?
What do you have?
Grayson and Cole?
Cow has hockey and chicken.
Yeah, you've got a couple stuffies. Awesome.
What does Cole have?
A dragon egg.
What is that, Cole?
A dragon egg.
An egg, okay. Very cool. It looks pretty. Oh, it's a dinosaur egg, right?
A dragon.
A dragon. Oh, that is super cool. Thank you for sharing. I bet that's... Yeah? Cool. It looks like it's made out of...
No, there's nothing in it.
It's empty. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. Malia and Kylie.
I have Lenny,
Nice.
and I got hacky sacks.
Oh, are those hacky sacks made out of cloth? Yeah?
Yeah.
There's probably cloth and beans. They look like they could have even been handmade. Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Isla, what do you have there? It's a little doll?
It's a little baby. She's the princess. And she's Playmobil.
Oh, very cool.
My-
Nice.
My favorite toy is Playmobil.
Awesome. I played with a lot of Playmobil too when I was your age.
I'm gonna get soon. My mama ordered for me the Playmobil Crystal Palace, which I've been wanting for so long.
Oh,
Get it?
that's very special. Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Isla. And last, we're going to go to Lexi. Maybe.
Got it.
There we go. Hey, Lexi. What do
This
you have
is
for your favorite toy?
This is my favorite Steffi.
Oh, nice. What's his name or her name?
Skippy.
Skippy?
Yeah.
Oh, very cute. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Okay, that was awesome. I loved seeing all of your favorite toys. That was a great little show and tell. My very first virtual show and tell. I think there is merit in doing this again next week. So my friends, the reason I want to talk about toys. So last week, Malia and Isla, we talked about schools. Do you remember that? Give me a thumbs up. Do you remember? Yeah. So last week we were talking about old-fashioned schools. We were talking about the Lockhill Schoolhouse in South Langley, what it was like to be a pioneer child. So a child of a settler family, somebody who immigrated to Langley 100 years ago. They set up arithmetic and writing. So we talked about all of those things. We talked about how kids didn't have much free time either because they were so busy working in the house, working chores on the farm, going to school. They'd have to walk all the way to school. Oh, good morning. We have Whitney and Austin coming in. Oh, outside. Nice. Good choice. Good morning. So Whitney and Austin, we're just talking about toys. We're talking about how it was like to be a pioneer child about 100 years ago. So everyone just had a second and they shared their favorite toys. Now, of those toys, most of those toys you shared looked like they could have been handmade. So maybe you didn't make them, but they're simple. They're made out of cloth, some stitching, some stuffing. We had a couple of plastic toys, like we had Cole's Dragon Egg. That is maybe more of a modern toy because it's plastic. It was bought in the store. We have Isla's Playmobil. Well, that was probably made in a factory. It was probably, made out of plastic, which is okay because most of my toys are electronic or made out of plastic. But 100 years ago, the pioneer kids, we didn't have plastic. We didn't have factories mass producing Playmobil. We couldn't just go to Walmart and pick up our favorite toy. So most of the toys that the pioneer kids had were homemade. So like all of your stuffies, they were simple toys that could have been made by mom or dad or grandma or the neighbor, things that didn't cost much money, things that lasted a long time. Sometimes you get a toy and it breaks because things are just made so quickly now. These were toys that were made with a little bit of extra love and care to make sure they lasted. Many of you presented old toys, which is amazing. Some of you had toys that were passed down from mom and dad. So those are old, well-built toys. None of your toys needed electronics. So can you imagine? Just think for a second. How would the world be if we didn't have power? What would you do? Like we certainly couldn't have this conversation. You couldn't watch Netflix. You couldn't play video games. We couldn't pick up the phone and just have a video call with our friend in a different town. So things were a lot simpler then. And kids got creative too. So now, I know when I'm bored, I just turn on Netflix. I have so many shows on Netflix I'm watching. It's so easy. But when you don't have that technology and you don't have a lot of toys, or you don't have a lot of money for toys, you have to get a little bit creative. So put your hand up if you like to play outside. Who here likes to play outside? I know things are a little bit different these days and the parks are closed, but I like to play outside. Okay, hands down. Thank you. But okay, I'd like to see a show of hands. Who uses power? Who uses electricity? Okay. Keep your hand up if you watch movies. Keep your hand up if you sometimes play video games. Yeah? Natalia's like, sometimes. Okay, hands down. Now, if we didn't have power, we didn't have video technology, but we had outside. So the pioneer kids played a lot of games outside. They would go to family picnics. They would play tag. They would play ball. They would play sports. And they would also inside play different games like dominoes and different board games with all ages of the family. Isla, do you have a question? Yeah, 1 second. I'm going to unmute you, love. Okay, go ahead, Isla.
Playing outside. Today I'm getting like my very own swing.
Okay. Awesome. So swings were something that the pioneers had too, because they could be built.
Yeah,
Nice.
Mama ordered it for me on that.
Awesome. I'm going to go to Natalia for just a second and then show you a couple toys of my own, okay?
We live in Fort St. John.
Are you in Fort St. John? You're joining us from Fort St. John right now?
Yeah,
Amazing.
Lexi's mom let us join us.
Oh, you know what? Thank you so much for sharing that. That's awesome. I've been to Fort St. John. I've been up there. It's a long ways away, but it's a beautiful place. There's tons of places to play outside. Thank you for joining us, Natalia. Okay, my friends. So I have a box beside me of Pioneer toys. But we're going to go a little bit fast because I want to show you a couple of videos too, okay? I don't want to go too late over time. I have something funny. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. Why don't you look at it for a second? Turn it around. Can anyone guess what this is? Put your hand up if you think you know. I'm going to go to somebody different each time, okay? I'll just take one guess and then I'll explain, okay? And Whitney?
What is it?
It goes on your shoe.
What is
It does go on your shoe. Whitney, do you know why? It goes on your shoe. It's a skate. This is what the pioneers used for skating. So see how light it is? I mean, it's not heavy at all, but it's just the blade. So it just ties onto your shoe and you can go skating. So that's very simple. Okay, but something like this. Okay, it's okay, Maddie, put your hand down for a second. This is a porcelain doll. See how pretty she is? Now, she was maybe not homemade. She's quite fragile. She's quite delicate. So she would have had to be ordered at a store. So 100 years ago, just like we talked about the schoolhouses last week, the pioneers had general stores. So there was a community store, like your corner store, where you'd go to get a pop and a chips. They had their post offices there. That's where you bought food. That's where you got fertilizer for the farm. That's where you got a little bit of toys. You could even order a new stove. The general stores were like a really, really small version of Walmart. They had everything in that one store, but each community just had one store. Sometimes you had to walk for a very long way or take your horse to get to that store. So the families would go about once a week to the store. And if that family had some extra money, because something like her, she would have been very expensive. A lot of pioneer families couldn't afford a fancy porcelain doll. That's why most of the toys were homemade. She would have to be saved up. You'd have to save up all of your pocket money, and you'd have to order her from the Eaton or from the Sears catalog. But it's not like today. Today, I know, when I want something that's not in stores, I hit a button on my phone. Amazon brings it to my door the next day. It wasn't that easy for the pioneer families. If you were saving up for a special toy like this for Christmas, you probably would have had to order it at Halloween. That's 3 months for a nice little toy to come in, and you don't get a notice at your door. So this would have come by post, by mail, but every week when you go to the general store, your mom or dad would have to check the post box to see if it's arrived. Huh? So that took a lot of money and a lot of planning. Okay, Grayson and Cole, I've unmuted you. What do you have there? Because I have a bunch of them beside me.
Okay, sure.
A Jacob's ladder.
It's a Jacob's ladder, exactly. It's so funny you pulled those out. So this, unlike the porcelain doll, this is a very simple toy that could be homemade. It could easily be made yourself, or your dad would make it in his shop. So it's just a little toy. Just does this. Woo. If you look at Grayson and Cole's screen there, you can see they each have one. And okay, my friends, I'm actually just going to share a quick little video just showing somebody making one of these. And just think, okay? I want you to think about something like Cole's Dragon Egg or Isla's Playmobil. That would have been made in a factory. They would have been bought at a store. Something like this porcelain doll would have been very specially made and would have been very expensive. How easy it is to make. We won't watch the whole thing, but just here's a man or somebody making one of these Jacob ladders. See how easy it is? Did you all see that video? Thumbs up. Yeah? So the person in that video is using a staple gun. So like 100 years ago, the pioneers wouldn't have had all the fancy tools we have, but you could very easily make one of these just out of cutting up little blocks, tying and gluing some ribbon. And there you have a very simple toy that you can play with without any cost or without having to save up and order something from a catalog. What else do I have in this box? I'm just watching the time. Just like some of your little dolls, here's an example of a very common doll that the pioneer kids would have had. So it's made out of just wood. It's made out of wood and string. So a very skilled woodworker. I don't think just anybody could build a little bear like this. But just like your stuffies, now it's not soft, it's pretty hard, but this is something that if someone who knows how to work with wood could make for the kids in the area. It doesn't have to be bought at the store, it doesn't have to be special ordered, but it's just such a nice little toy. Okay, the last thing I want to share, because I found a really cute YouTube video. So those are all solo toys. These are all things, well, except for the skates, you'd probably be playing with it. Well, the porcelain doll, you might not even get to play with because it's so special and it's so expensive. It would probably sit up on your shelf, just up in your bedroom. And when you had a friend come over, she wanted to see your porcelain doll, you'd have to ask mom or dad if you get to take her off the shelf and have a little show because she's so, so special. But what about games that we can play together? So all of us play. I mean, those of you who have brothers and sisters at home, I'm sure you're spending lots of time together. Hopefully you're playing some activities together. There were a lot of toys that were very simple that people could play together. So we talked about outdoor activities, playing tag, but there were some little games too. So here, I have a game called Pick Up Sticks. Put up your hand if you've ever heard of this. I know the adults might. Oh, Sania has, Malia has. Yeah? So this is a very simple game. I used to play this a lot when I was your age. I still do, actually. This was a very simple game that has been around for like 200 or 300 years. And it's a game just made out of wooden sticks. It's a box and a bunch of sticks. I don't know if you can get more simple than that, my friends. You don't need power, you don't need plastic, you don't need factories. So before we end, I'll show you just a little bit of a video. I found something on YouTube with a couple of kids talking about how they play pickup sticks. And this is a game that has been around for a long, long time. It doesn't require any catalog ordering or factories. You don't need to go to Amazon and get it at your door. It's something you can make from home. You could play with a friend, you could play by yourself, and different ages play together. That was very important for the pioneer families too. Not just a toy that a 5-year-old could play, but a toy that the whole family could play. They didn't have a lot of free time. They had way less free time than we do today. But the times that they spent in their free time, they spent it as a family. So kids, parents, grandparents, and neighbors. So any games that they could play with different ages were really, really awesome. I'm going to show one little video here. We won't watch the whole thing, but we'll show just a little piece of it. Share.
But it still works, and it's fun. There are countless ways of playing pickup sticks. You might know it as Mikado Spear, which is what it says on the box, but extremely hard to read, by the way. This is how I play it. You hold it from the bottom, you let go, and nicely done. There should usually be a circle. This time it's got in a rectangle shape, but it's made a formation to make this mission impossible. Pick up the sticks. Am I? Dun 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 dun. Yay. Whee. So the aim of the game is to pick up the sticks without touching any other one. It's really hard. Yes! There are countless tricks to it.
Moved already.
Oh, I moved it. You moved it! Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So that's just a quick little show of how some kids are playing pickup sticks. And that's all it is to it, my friends. That is just a bunch of sticks and a box. And you can play it by yourself or with your whole family for hours. Now, thinking about how simple that is, put your hand up if you think maybe next time you're going to go to Netflix or a video game, maybe you could find some family members to play a simple game that doesn't need technology. Who thinks that we could maybe go play tag outside? Yeah, we could go find some friends. I mean, just our immediate family members this time. But maybe instead of going to your video games or to YouTube, there's a lot of simple things. And you know what, my friends? I would challenge you in the next couple of weeks. Next time you're like, oh, I'm bored. Mom and Dad, I just want to go on TV. I just want to watch some Netflix. Maybe you could look around the house. Maybe you have a bunch of chopsticks. You could paint them. You could make up your own game. You could use stuff around your home to build a simple game that, just like the Pioneer kids did, that you could play with your family. And then when things open back up, you could teach your friends. Okay, my friends, that is all the time we have for today. I will see you all again next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Miss Haley's going to say a couple of things, and especially Natalia and Sasha, all the way from Fort St. John. And we look forward to seeing all of you back next week. Okay, and it's off to Haley. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Shannon. Can we all give her a excited thank you wave or a big yawn, Miss Isla? Excited, thank you. Well, thank you very much. And Natalia didn't share, but they actually used to live here. Lexi, who's here and yawning, and Natalia, and then Whitney, who is hiding, and Isla are actually all born within 2 weeks of each other. So they are all going to be turning 7 between the 8th, 15th, and 16th, and 20. Natalia, when's your birthday? 20?
I forgot.
Is your birthday the 25th?
I think it's 6th.
No.
Well, you know what? If you guys are all about to turn 7, I think you are the prime age to be creative and make up a game at home or build your own toy. And you can share it with the other kids. Maybe in a different session, you could teach the younger kids how to play your toy.
Cool. That would be cool. So yes, so Lexi and Whitney and Natalia were all born at the same time, and we're all good friends. And then we met Isla later, and they're all birthday buddies. So that's our little connection there. And Grayson, are you about to turn 7 too?
Yeah.
Yeah, when's your birthday, buddy?
July 21st.
Wow, you guys are all born within 2 weeks of each other. That is crazy.